The words came through the phone like ice water. Pay for the wedding, Dad, where you'll never see your grandchildren again. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The morning light caught the edge of my coffee cup as I sat in the study Eleanor and I had built together. 43 years in this house. 43 years of memories soaked into every wall, every floorboard. The garden outside still bloomed with her roses. I tended them myself now. Early mornings before the day heated up. Her photograph watched from the mantel. Eleanor at 56, laughing at something I'd said, her hair catching the sun. 3 years gone, but I still set 2 cups out some mornings before I caught myself. The house was too quiet without her. I'd built Richardson Property Development from nothing, started framing houses at 19, bought my first rental at 24, built a portfolio of commercial properties and residential developments across 3 states. 50 years of work. The money sat mostly untouched. I lived simply. Always had. Eleanor and I had raised 2 children in this house. Michael, our son, worked as a teacher in Oregon, called every Sunday, visited when he could. We were close. Easy. Then there was Sarah, my daughter, 32 years old, engaged to Brandon Shun, a corporate attorney she'd been dating for 14 months. I'd met him twice, both times brief, both times feeling like I was being assessed for worth rather than welcomed as family. The engagement had been announced 4 months ago. The wedding was planned for June, 8 months away. Sarah had called twice since the engagement, both times asking about money. My phone buzzed. Sarah, right on schedule for her weekly call. Hi, sweetheart, I said. Dad, we need to talk about the wedding budget. No greeting. Straight to business. Brandon's parents are contributing $75,000. I need to know what you're putting in. I set my coffee down carefully. I thought we discussed this. I offered to contribute $20,000, same as I gave Michael for his wedding. Michael got married at a park, Dad. This is a real wedding. His wedding was real. He and Jennifer are very happy. You know what I mean. Her voice had that edge Eleanor used to call her boardroom tone. The voice Sarah used when she wanted to bulldoze through objections. Brandon's family has expectations. The venue alone is $80,000. We need the Riverside Grand, the full package. Anything less is embarrassing. $20,000 is generous, Sarah. It's what I can comfortably contribute. You own half the commercial property in 3 counties. Don't play poor with me. The words hit like a slap. I'm not playing anything. I work for what I have. That doesn't mean Brandon's parents are already judging me because you live in that old house and drive a 15-year-old truck. They think I come from nothing. You come from a family that loves you. That should matter more than impressing people you barely know. Silence. Then, I need you to contribute $100,000. 75 to match Brandon's parents, and 25 more to cover what we're short. Sarah, that's unreasonable. It's my wedding. Your only daughter's wedding. Mom would have wanted me to have a beautiful day. There it was. The card she always played. Your mother would have wanted. Eleanor would have told her to elope and save the money for a house. But Eleanor wasn't here to say it. I'll give you $20,000, I said quietly. That's final. Then I guess you're choosing money over your daughter. Her voice went cold. And over your future grandchildren. My chest tightened. What? I'm 12 weeks pregnant, Dad. I haven't announced it yet. Brandon and I wanted to wait until after the wedding. But if you're going to be cheap and embarrassing, maybe you don't deserve to be part of this family. The room seemed to tilt. Sarah, $100,000, where you're not invited to the wedding. And you'll never meet your grandchild. I mean it. Brandon agrees. We don't need people in our lives who don't support us. The line went dead. I sat in Eleanor's chair, phone in my hand, staring at nothing. My daughter had just weaponized my grandchild. Used an unborn baby as leverage for money. I looked at Eleanor's photograph. What would you do? But I knew what she'd do. Eleanor had limits. Eleanor had backbone when it came to teaching our children about values. I picked up the phone and called my attorney. Richard, it's Thomas Richardson. I need you to draft a document. Today. What kind of document? A gift agreement. With conditions. I pulled out my checkbook, looking at the balance. More than enough to pay what Sarah demanded. More than enough to give in. But giving in would teach her nothing. I'm going to give my daughter exactly what she asked for, I said. But she's going to earn it. And if she chooses money over character, she'll lose more than she gains. Richard was quiet for a moment. What are you planning, Thomas? Teaching the lesson her mother would have taught. I looked at Eleanor's roses through the window. She wants $100,000? She'll get it. But she'll understand the cost. I spent the rest of the day drafting terms with Richard. By evening, we had a document that was legally airtight and morally clear. The next morning, I drove to Sarah's apartment downtown, a luxury building I'd helped with the down payment on, though she'd never acknowledged it. I carried an envelope. She answered in yoga clothes, surprised. "Dad, what are you doing here?" "I have your wedding gift," I said. "Can I come in?" Sarah's apartment was all white marble and chrome, expensive, sterile, nothing like the warmth Eleanor had filled our home with. Brandon sat on the leather couch in a suit despite it being Saturday, scrolling through his phone. He looked up. "Thomas, didn't expect you." "I came to deliver Sarah's wedding gift." I held up the envelope. Sarah's eyes lit up. "You changed your mind?" "I thought about what you said. About family. About supporting you." I sat down without being invited. "I have conditions." Her expression shifted. "Conditions?" I pulled out the document Richard had drafted. "I'm prepared to give you $100,000 for your wedding. But this money comes with terms that must be followed exactly." Brandon set his phone down. "We're not signing anything that restricts how we use the money." "Then you're not getting the money." I kept my voice level. "These are Eleanor's principles. If you want my money, you honor her memory by honoring what she believed." Sarah took the document, reading. Her face went from eager to confused to angry. "This is insane." "Read it aloud," I said. "So Brandon hears it too." She read, voice tight with fury. Terms of wedding gift from Thomas Richardson. 1. The wedding budget cannot exceed $150,000 total. Any amount contributed by Thomas Richardson must be matched by the couple's own savings, dollar for dollar. If Sarah and Brandon contribute $20,000 from their own accounts, Thomas will contribute $20,000, up to a maximum of $100,000. 2. The couple must create a detailed budget showing all expenses. No expense over $5,000 may occur without Thomas Richardson's prior approval. 3. 10% of any money contributed by Thomas Richardson must be donated to a charity of his choosing in Eleanor Richardson's name. 4. Sarah must write a letter to her mother, to be placed at Eleanor's grave, explaining what this wedding means and acknowledging the sacrifices her parents made to give her opportunities. 5. If Sarah or Brandon threatens to withhold access to grandchildren as leverage for money, gifts, or favors at any point during the engagement or marriage, all financial support ceases immediately and permanently, including any inheritance provisions in Thomas Richardson's will. She threw the paper on the coffee table. "You're trying to control my wedding. I'm trying to teach you that love isn't purchased with money. That family isn't a bargaining chip." I looked at her, really looked at my daughter, and saw a stranger. "You told me I'd never see my grandchild unless I paid for your wedding. You used her mother's memory to manipulate me. Those aren't the values Eleanor and I taught you. Brandon's parents aren't demanding essays and approval rights. They just gave us the money because they love us. Brandon's parents are buying their way into looking successful. I'm investing in your character." I stood. "You have two choices. Sign this agreement, follow the terms, and get the full amount I promised. Or refuse, take nothing from me, and plan a wedding you can actually afford on your own." Brandon's voice was ice. "This is financial abuse. You're leveraging money to control your daughter's life choices. I'm attaching values to support. That's called parenting." I looked at him directly. "You're a corporate attorney, Brandon. You negotiate contracts for a living. These terms are clear, fair, and designed to ensure my money supports a marriage, not just a party." Sarah's hands shook. "I can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe you threatened to keep my grandchild from me unless I paid you." The words came out harder than I intended, but they needed to be said. "Do you understand what that did? Your mother died 3 years ago. I've been alone in that house, missing her every day, and the idea of a grandchild, a family continuing, that was light in the darkness. And you used it as a weapon." Silence filled the room. "I told Mom before she died that I was grateful for you both." Sarah said quietly, "I meant it then." "Then prove it now. Show me you remember what we taught you about what actually matters." I left the document on the table and walked to the door. "You have 1 week to decide," I said. "Sign and follow the terms, or plan your wedding without my money." "But Sarah, the part about threatening me with my grandchild? That's permanent. Do it again, and you lose more than wedding money. You lose your inheritance, your trust fund, everything. I won't be manipulated by my own daughter." I drove home and spent the afternoon in the garden, pulling weeds from Eleanor's roses. My phone stayed silent. 3 days passed. Then 5. On the 6th day, I received a call from Brandon. "We need to meet," he said. "Sarah's struggling with this. The terms don't change." "I know. That's not why I'm calling." He paused. "I need to apologize. This whole thing, the wedding budget, the pressure, a lot of it came from me. My family has money and they show it. I pushed Sarah to match that. I didn't realize what it was doing to her relationship with you." I sat down heavily. "Go on." "She's been crying for 2 days. She told me about your wife, about how Eleanor used to garden with her, how they'd cup together. She said her mom never cared about expensive things, that she taught Sarah to value people over possessions." His voice roughened. "I think losing Eleanor broke something in Sarah. She's been trying to fill the emptiness with success and appearances, and I encouraged it because it matched my family's values." "What are you saying, Brandon?" "I'm saying we'll sign your agreement. All of it. And we'll do it right. But I need your help with something else." "What?" "Sarah needs grief counseling. Professional help. She never processed losing her mother. The pregnancy is bringing up everything she avoided." He took a breath. "Will you pay for therapy instead of the wedding? I think she needs it more." I looked at Eleanor's photograph. This was the moment that mattered. "I'll pay for both," I said. "Therapy for as long as she needs it. And the wedding money under the original terms. But she has to commit to the counseling." "She will. I'll make sure she does." The document arrived by courier the next morning, signed by both of them. The therapy started 2 weeks later. Sarah went twice a week to a grief counselor who specialized in delayed mourning. Brandon paid for the first month before I quietly took over the bills, sending checks directly to the therapist's office. Sarah didn't know I was paying. That was intentional. The wedding planning shifted. Sarah called me one evening, voice different, softer, uncertain. "Dad, can we talk about the budget?" "Of course. I've been looking at venues. The Riverside Grand is beautiful, but it's also empty, impersonal." She paused. "Do you remember Mom's garden parties?" My throat tightened. "Every summer. She'd string lights in the trees and set up tables on the lawn." "What if we did the wedding here? At the house? In Mom's garden?" I had to set the phone down for a moment. "Dad, are you there?" "I'm here." "Sarah, are you sure?" Dr. Martinez asked me where I felt closest to Mom. "It's the garden. It's always been the garden." Her voice cracked. "I want to get married where she'd be happy, not where Brandon's parents would be impressed. Then that's where we'll do it." The wedding budget transformed. Venue cost, 0. Catering from a local family restaurant Eleanor had loved, 12,000. Flowers grown in Eleanor's garden, supplemented by a local florist, 3,000. A string quartet instead of a full band, 4,000. Sarah contributed 18,000 from her savings. I matched it exactly, per the agreement. The total came to 36,000, a third of what Brandon's parents had offered, a fraction of the original plan. Sarah donated 10% to the women's shelter where Eleanor had volunteered. She hand-delivered the check. The hardest part was the letter. Sarah worked on it for 3 weeks, going through multiple drafts, crying through most of them. She finally brought it to me on a Sunday morning. "Will you read it?" she asked. "Before I take it to Mom's grave?" We sat in the study. I read, "Dear Mom, I've been angry at you for dying. I never said it out loud, but I was. You left when I needed you. When I was building my career, planning my future, becoming an adult. I wanted you to see me succeed. I wanted to make you proud. But I've been trying to make you proud in all the wrong ways. I thought success meant money and status and impressing people who don't really know me. I thought if I could build something big enough, expensive enough, impressive enough, it would fill the hole you left. It doesn't work that way." Dr. Martinez asked me what you would say about the wedding. I knew immediately. You tell me to stop trying to impress strangers and focus on the people I love. You tell me that marriage matters more than a wedding. That a garden party with real joy is worth more than a ballroom filled with people performing happiness. You tell me Dad deserves better than how I treated him. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry I used your memory to manipulate him. I'm sorry I threatened to keep his grandchild away. I'm sorry I forgot what you actually taught me about what matters. I'm getting married in your garden. Dad's going to walk me down the aisle between your roses. Brandon and I are starting our marriage with values instead of debt. Our daughter. Yes, it's a girl, and we're naming her Eleanor. Will grow up knowing her grandmother through stories and principles, not just photographs. I wish you were here, but I'm trying to live in a way that honors you being gone. I love you. I'm sorry it took me so long to grieve you properly. Your daughter, Sarah, I couldn't speak. Just folded the letter carefully and handed it back. It's perfect, I managed. We went to Eleanor's grave together that afternoon. First time Sarah had visited in over a year. She placed the letter under a stone at the headstone and sat in the grass, telling her mother about the therapy, the wedding plans, the baby. I gave them privacy and walked the cemetery paths Eleanor and I used to walk when we visited her parents' graves. The wedding happened on a June afternoon with 70 guests in Eleanor's garden. Sarah wore her mother's pearls, the only expensive jewelry Eleanor had ever owned, a gift from me on our 25th anniversary. Brandon's parents attended, stiff at first in the casual garden setting, but I saw his mother crying during the vows. Michael walked Sarah halfway down the aisle. Then I took over for the final approach. Sarah held my arm tight. "Thank you," she whispered, "for not giving up on me. That's what fathers do." The reception was simple. Good food, real conversation, Eleanor's roses blooming around us like she planned it herself. Brandon's father found me by the drinks table. "I owe you an apology," he said. "I thought you were being difficult about money. I didn't understand you were teaching her something. No apology needed. Different families, different values." "Better values," he said quietly. "I'm going to remember this." Sarah's therapy continued after the wedding. She went weekly, sometimes twice weekly as the pregnancy progressed. She talked about Eleanor, about grief, about the pressure she'd put on herself to be perfect. Eleanor Machon was born in February. 8 pounds, dark hair, her grandmother's eyes according to Sarah. I held her in the hospital while Sarah slept. This tiny person who carried Eleanor's name forward. "Your grandmother would have loved you," I whispered. "She would have spoiled you rotten." Sarah recovered from delivery and stayed at my house for 2 weeks. We fell into a routine. I'd make breakfast while she nursed Eleanor. We'd sit in the garden in the afternoons. Brandon would come after work and we'd have dinner together. One evening, after Brandon left, Sarah found me in the study. "I've been thinking about the money," she said. My guard went up. Sarah, not asking for more. The opposite. She sat down with Eleanor in her arms. "You contributed $36,000 to the wedding. Brandon's parents gave us $75,000. We spent $36 total. That means there's $75,000 left over. That's between you and Brandon's parents. We want to return it. All of it. We don't need it. We have good jobs, savings, a paid-off car. The money's just sitting there making us feel like we owe people something." She looked down at baby Eleanor. "I want her to grow up understanding the difference between what we need and what we want. The way Mom tried to teach me." "Brandon agrees with this?" "It was his idea. He's been in therapy too. Individual sessions. Working through his own family pressure stuff." She smiled. "We're a mess, Dad, but we're trying to be less of a mess." I looked at my daughter, really looked at her, and saw Eleanor's strength starting to surface. Not perfect. Still growing. But trying. "Keep the money," I said. "But put it in a trust for Eleanor May. For her education, or her first house, or whatever she needs when she's grown. Let it be about her future, not about debt or obligation." Sarah's eyes filled. "That's perfect." The money went into a trust fund the next week. Sarah and Brandon added to it monthly, small amounts, but consistent. Building something for their daughter the way Eleanor and I had built for ours. I still live in the same house. Still tend Eleanor's garden. But now Sarah visits every Sunday with the baby. We have breakfast together. She makes the coffee the way Eleanor used to, strong and dark. Brandon comes when he can, and we've developed an easy friendship based on respect rather than tension. Michael and his family visited last month. All of us together in the garden, 3 generations. Eleanor's roses blooming like she was hosting another party. I took a photograph. Everyone gathered around the table under the oak tree, baby Eleanor in Sarah's arms, sunlight filtering through the leaves. I had it framed and put it beside Eleanor's photograph in the study. 2 moments. 2 versions of family. Both real, both earned. Some mornings I still set out 2 coffee cups before I catch myself. But now when I do, I hear children's laughter from the guest room where Sarah stays over sometimes when Brandon travels for work. I hear my daughter singing to her daughter, the same lullabies Eleanor sang to her. The house isn't quiet anymore. Sarah called yesterday. "Dad, can we plant a new rose bush in Mom's garden? For Eleanor May? So when she's older she can see something that was planted the year she was born? Your mother would love that. We're planting it this weekend." Sarah picked a white variety called Memorial, blooms twice a year, Hearty, beautiful. Eleanor would approve. I look at my girls, daughter and granddaughter, and I see Eleanor's legacy continuing, not in money or property or things I built with my hands, in values, in the choice to be better, in the understanding that family is something you earn every day, not something you buy or leverage or take for granted. That's worth more than any wedding, any trust fund, any inheritance. That's everything. And on Sunday mornings when Sarah makes coffee and we sit in Eleanor's garden with the baby, I can meet my wife's eyes in that old photograph and know we did it right. Not perfectly, not easily, but right. And that has to be enough. Somehow, with roses blooming and family gathered and Eleanor's name spoken with love, it is.